This is a demonstrational video on how to install a Salto lock using a cylindrical latch. Depending on your application, you can use either a 2 3/4 or 2 3/8 back set. In this application, we will be using a 2 3/4. From the parts bag of your cylindrical latch, you will use the small screws to hold your latch in. There are grooves on the cylinder that line up with the latch. Line them up and slide it into place. When you open your Salto box, you will have a template. The template will show you where to drill your holes. Using the spindle, slide it through the cylinder. Apply the template and level it up to the edge of the door. Using a center punch, mark the holes to be drilled. The holes will be drilled with a 9/16 drill bit. To set the handing on the front half of your escutcheon, insert the spindle into the hub, lining up the spring-loaded pin with the small hole in the hub. When you tug on it, it should stay in place, pulling the front escutcheon halves apart, making sure not to pull the cable out. By turning the escutcheon on its side, gravity will help you set the handing, right or left depending on your door. Now that the halves are back together, use the 4 small screws in your Salto parts bag. These screws will hold the front halves together, being sure not to strip them out. Now that the front half of your escutcheon is done, you can apply it to the door, making sure the spindle is facing forward and backwards with the little vertical lines. Be sure not to pinch your ribbon cable. To set the handing on the back half of your escutcheon, pull the back cover off. Insert the ribbon cable through the black padding on the top and turn your handle on its side. Once again, make sure not to pinch the ribbon cable. The 2 long screws that come in your Salto parts bag will be used to hold the front and back halves together, one in the top and one in the bottom. Before tightening the screws down, be sure to level your escutcheon using a ruler or leveling square. Be sure to check the front and back halves. Now that it's level, you can tighten the screws down. Using the self-tapping screw, screw it into the 3rd hole from the bottom. This screw will keep the escutcheon from shifting. Plug in your ribbon cable to the open port with the ribbon facing up. Don't bend the cable because it can break easily. Put your batteries in as specified in the battery location. When the batteries are in, it should make a sound, which means you're properly hooked up. Now you can put your back cover on. Top side first, making sure not to pinch the cable. On the bottom of your escutcheon, there is a screw. Turn it counterclockwise, which will apply pressure to the plate holding it on. Using the Allen key and the 2 set screws left, put these in the handles and tighten them down, eliminating the plate in the handles. You have now successfully installed your first Salto lock.